Assalamu alaikum, this is video 5. So that's a game plan, that's a strategy that they have planned for mankind, okay? And that's what's rumored, and that's why they're having you worship her, and that's why they're having you, that's why it's rumored, that's why they get building a church for her and all this kind of stuff and trying to teach, excuse me, a class on her teaching feminism and all that kind of stuff, when, as I said, there are equally beautiful women out there, equally women who sing equally beautiful, and who've been singing women's rights for years, okay? They've been singing women's rights for years. They've been advocating through song women's rights for years. Not the first one, and she won't be the last. And don't need to be worshipped for that. Okay, so that's what is meant by the Holy Grail, okay? So we're going to go to another one. Okay. And the Holy Grail is what? To give birth to the only begotten. So the Holy Grails or the Holy Girls are going to give sons to birth to the sons of gods, right? Yeah. Okay. So, and labeling her as a son, the Holy Grail is to give birth to the what? To the Son of God. And that's why she ran around, and that's why it's rumored, and I'm only saying rumored, so I'm not sued of libel, but it's rumored, that's why she wears the afro, to represent Aphrodite, to represent Venus, and that's why she was born. That's why the child was born in as a Capricorn, to represent Satan, to represent Saturn. Okay, so that's rumored. Okay, to give birth to an only begotten, because it's rumored she's been betrothed. Okay, this is Brazeera giving it to you live, giving it to you straight. This Gemini, new moon, first day, Ramadan. Assalamu alaikum, Ramadan Kareem. Okay, so she's to give birth to the only begotten. That's what the job of the Holy Grail is, to give birth to the only begotten sons of God, of the dog god Anubis, right? Okay, this, and who represents Molech, who represents Baal, who represents all that through all the empires, whatever names they give, and it's still pagan, it's still that crap, okay? And the Anunnaki worship of the jinn, it all goes back to that, okay? So, the sons of Romulus, who represents Osiris, who represents Ra, who represents Iblis, who represents the spirit, until the spirit is made whole, made physical, and that will be made physical through who? Through the son of what's his name? Rothschild. And it's going to manifest in him when he falls. He's got to have a body. That's to be his body. Okay, that he's to act through. Okay, but until then, all other men represented that spirit. Okay, and all women gave birth to not all women, but the Grails gave birth to the spirit of that, the sons of that spirit. Okay, so they're to give birth. The Holy Girls are to give birth to the spirits. I mean the sons of Anubis, and Anubis represents the dog god, represents Iblis. Okay, if the dog god represents the son Iblis. I mean the sons of gods represents the dog god, which is the Iblis, right? The spirit of Iblis, right? And why the dog? Because we said the dog was the spit, the clay that was to be the body of man, and the spirit of Iblis. And I showed you the video. Okay, it's your job to keep up. Okay, if you're watching these videos, it's got to be your job to keep up, because we get really technical, and we span lots of space and time in a short distance. So you got to be able to keep up. And if you needed to review these videos to take notes and then go back and find the information yourself, do so. Okay? Because as I said, don't take my word for it. Don't take nobody's. It's time for you to trust yourself. Trust only Allah. Okay? Trust the one who created you. And if you don't trust me saying Allah, pray on it. Pray, oh heavenly creator, creator of the sun, the moon, the stars, the first man, water, earth, help me to find you. Help me discover your name, because there's so much creation, so much confusion out there. Help me, guide me, like Prophet Ibrahim did. He prayed to the moon first, or the sun first. When the sun disappeared, he said, that's not my God. When the moon, because I don't like things that disappear. When the moon, and then he said, the moon must be my God. I'm not saying in the order, but he did say this. And then when he said the moon must be my God, and the moon disappeared, he said the moon's not my God, because he don't like things that disappear, and his God don't disappear. So he found his way by asking, and he asked Allah, oh, if you don't guide me, if Allah didn't guide him, he wouldn't be guided. And that's when he got guided. So you do the same. Do the same. Okay? You don't have to trust me, and I won't be offended by it. I won't be offended by it. Okay? But you need to check yourself. If you need to take information from what this videos, that's all good, and that's very good. But do your own research, okay? Because I ain't gonna be responsible for nobody's misinterpretation. If I misinterpret anything, I say, Allah forgive me. Astaghfirullah azim. Allah forgive me, because it's not my goal to misguide anybody. Okay? So we said the Holy Grail is to give birth to the only begotten sons. Okay, they're to be the daughters of those men. Okay, and those men who are of that Neanderthal order, they give their daughters. They volunteer their daughters for power. They give their daughters up easily. Okay, so because remember in the past they used to bury their daughters alive. In some cultures, they buried them with daughters alive. Okay, so now we said the Holy Ghost. The Holy Ghost is to be the mother of the only begottens, right? Her identity is to be maintained secret, unless she's Osiris. Isis, right? Okay, and Isis represents electromagnetic energy. Okay. She represents the pie, and we wonder why, because we said heaven is the pie, right, between the black woman's legs, right? Okay, the electromagnetic energy. Okay, so we said she's to be the wife of Romulus, Saturn or Satan. Okay, Helios. Okay, Saturn or Satan, Helios. Okay, that's what Saturn represents. But that's what we said. That this is just feminine energy. Okay. Like the sun represents masculine energy. Okay, she is to be the Holy Grail, right? And over the body man, right, which is her son, right? Over the body man, which is his plane, which is the temporal, or the physical body, and she is to represent on the astral body, okay? Of the Trinity, right? So the mother of the wife of the dog man, or the God man, the dog God man, right? She is to be Holy Mother of God, right? The God the Son, right? This is how they have it structured, okay? By Constantine, okay, who was also a sun worshiper, okay, a pagan worshiper, a worshiper of Osiris, okay. She's to be the Holy Grail, or we said the Holy Ghost, the wife of the God, would also be considered a goddess, right, of the underworld. Okay, she's to represent Venus. Okay, the goddess of femininity, the goddess of all women, the goddess of earth. She is to represent the holy celestial, as we said, the holy celestial mother. Okay, she's to be the wife of God, she's to be the mother of God, and she's a God herself, right, of the Trinity. Okay, so she's the God of heaven, she's the God of the astrosphere, and she's the God of the temporal field, because there can only be one, right? One female God, one mother God, one father God, and one son God, and they're all gods of all. You know what to say? They're all equal. They're all one. They're all one body. That's what they mean. Okay. If they taught you, it means one thing, so you'll see it one way, but to them it means a whole nother thing. That's what I'm trying to tell you. Okay. Because nowhere in the Bible you're going to find the Trinity. But they'll tell you that. Just believe it. Just accept it. Accept it the way we explained it. Accept our logos. Accept the words, because these are the words of God. And it's the word of their God. And it's the truth of their God. It's the truth of their God. Okay, that's why they got you worshiping their God. It's the truth. It's the truth of their God. The Trinity is the truth of their God. But it's not the truth of your God, the God of the natural world. That's why I'm saying for you, pray like Abraham prayed, because Abraham was not, as I posted that video, Prophet Abraham, alayhi salam, that's peace be upon him. Prophet Abraham, alayhi salam, was not a Christian, he was not a Jew, he was a believer. And that's what Muslim means. It means believer. To be a Muslim is to be a believer in the oneness of the one who created earth, the one who created mankind, the one who created, put the stars in order and the planets in order and ordered the universe. You pray for guidance, and you pray for guidance, okay? Pray for him to guide you. That's what you need in these very critical, crucial times, because we are living in the last hour. Okay, and we're also living in the last time by which we can, as humanity, can do anything to help ourselves. Okay, so we got to unite. We got to understand what the problem, what is causing us to fragment as a human race. What is causing us to stay divided and not come together and create war, and what's causing humanity to kill itself and starve itself and not care about itself when it comes to having diseases and things like this, and not helping one another, and seeing aspects of humanity starving on the streets and homeless and all this kind of stuff, and the classism and the racism and the sexism and the ageism and the misogyny and all this kind of stuff. We got to find out what's causing all this, the divide. Get rid of all that stuff that's causing the divide, okay? That's what I meant by the consciousness, that infectious consciousness. This is the infectious consciousness that is in the consciousness of the commercial republic, that is infecting the mind of man, that's destroying mankind, that's destroying the body of man, because he's accepted it as real. He's accepted it as his own, and it's not. He's accepted the dog reality to be his own reality, and man is not a dog. Man is a human being. Man is an African. Man has humanity. Man has compassion. Man is not to live like an animal. Okay, he's to live like a man with his crown raised to the highest height of his intellectual potential. See what I'm saying? So they want you to live like that. They want you to teach you that, and this consciousness is infecting is in their environment. When it gets into man, it's impure and it fragments, and emotionally, mentally, it fragments in mind, body, and spirit. It fragments him emotionally, and that is his heart. It infects him mentally, spiritually, and that's his mind, and it affects his body, breaks his body down physically, and makes him weak and easy to conquer and master, because he can't think and he can't feel, so he's nothing. Okay, so that's the consciousness in that world, and that's the consciousness you got to get out of. And that's why it says leave Babylon, leave that consciousness. You ain't got to fight no war, you ain't got to cuss nobody out, you ain't got to do nothing, but you do have to protest, and you do have to reject it. And when that piece of shit comes here to this country, you got to reject, because if you don't say nothing, saying nothing is unanimous consent. So you gotta reject it. When you see him coming here and you you hear about him, it's reported on the media, because he's got to report it that he's coming here, and you got to call your White House and say, I reject him being here. That's all you got to say. I reject him being here. I reject what he said. I don't consent. Don't give your consent, and then apply for, cancel that bond, cancel the bondage they have on you by doing that form, filing that form, CC1 form, financial statement, so you can get yourself out of the system. Because other than that, you basically a foster child in the system. So you got to get yourself out, because you were abducted. You were abducted at birth. You were spiritually abducted through the birth certificate. You were spiritually abducted. And Vatican became your home. Rome became your master, your overseer, your spiritual overseer. And that's why they can dictate laws to you and go to their court system. Okay, they can dictate. and they'll try to tell you this is against the law. No, it's not against the law to know your spiritual truth. It's your right. You're entitled to know it, and you should know it. Get rid of the spiritual infection, okay? Bring yourself back from abduction. They abducted us all at birth, and they've been doing that since, they instituted the birth certificate system and took all the gold and all this kind of stuff, okay? So, as I said, she would be considered the mother, mother crown head would be considered the goddess of all femininity, and she can't be because she ain't got no African in her, okay? Well, I can't say that, but she's Neanderthal, okay? She's a Neanderthal, okay? She gotta be, to be connected to them, she gotta be Neanderthal. There ain't no lie. Okay, so, she represents the Holy Mother, as we said, because she's the vessel that carries it, right? The only begotten Rome, okay? Who has power over Rome, which is Rothschild, right? Because he has the money. How did he get the money? After the war with Napoleon, Britain's war with France, right? And France lost, and Rothschild lied and took control of the banking system, and therefore he took control of the government. Okay, and then aligned with working with this government, in breaking this market down right through the stock market crash. What did they do? Took control of this market and instituted the central banking system, and took control of the money in this country, and therefore took control of the government, and therefore took control of the population, and but through nefarious means, through deceit or conspiracy. Okay, and conspiracy is not a theory, it's a fact. It's just people conspiring, people working together in secret to bring about something, okay? And they've done that. But if they didn't work, if it wasn't a conspiracy, then why have those secret societies such as Skull and Bones? There was a conspiracy there. Why do they keep themselves in secret? Why do they have secret handshakes? Why do they have secret this, secret that, secret conspiracy? So it's not a conspiracy theory. It's just a paradigm. They got a paradigm, and they want to keep it a secret, okay? And they want to keep it a secret how it works, because if you find out, okay, you can get your freedom, and that's the only way to save yourselves, and that's the only way to save America. And you got to do it fast, okay? Because they're moving fast. They want to come in September and claim dominance over everybody and everything. And if you don't reject, and you don't have to say, no, I refuse that spirituality, I don't accept it, they can't do it, especially if many people do it. You have to do it, because one person do it, they will try to make you think it's illegal what that person's doing. They'll try to arrest that person and make you scared to do it when it's your right to do it. But if you do it together, then you scare them and you break their down. You deflate their little giant bubble, because it's only a bubble, and you'll deflate it. Okay, and you'll save your children, and that's what the paradigm is, and that's what the matrix is. Okay, to maintain harmony in their little three-dog head, because it's like, how can three heads control one body? Well, remember, one head is spiritual, one head's the mother, and one head's on the ethereal realm, one head's on the astral realm to control the planetary bodies, right? And then to control the word, one controls the word, one controls the planetary bodies, and one controls the body of man, right? Okay, to do his will, to build the kingdom for the God, right? The dog god, what? Anubis, right? And we talked about why the God is connected to the dog, right? Because it was the body of man, the navel part that was taken out, because the devil spit on that part of the ground, man's body, and Allah took it out, which would left him hold, right, the belly button, and then it formed that part of that part became from that part was made the dog, right? From that part of where that part was thrown to that part of the earth was made the dog, right? That's what the dog came from, just like we said about the pig, okay? Everything has a purpose. And then, so that's why the dog represents God to them, okay? Okay? Because it has the spirit, the flesh, or the clay, like the clay flesh of man and woman, right? And then, because that spirit was rebred to produce a Neanderthal, right? So, and then the spirit, the sons of the God, the sons of man went into the God, sons of God went into the daughters of man, right? So the spirit of the devil went into man, right, to produce, went into woman to produce the jinn went into the woman, the spirit went into the woman to produce the God's son, right, the sons, and then they breeded among themselves, right, and then they breeded also those beasts to the dogs, right, and they produce dog people, right, and then they could breed these dog peoples together, and they keep doing this over a cycle, and that's why they inbreed. Then the what? They finally produce what looks like a man, right? Okay, keep breeding man and dog, and dog people, dog women, they're going to eventually come out with something that looks like a human. Okay, so that's what it is, and how do they get? That's why the dog represents it. It's real, and it's real. It's their real spirituality, but mankind can't worship it. Mankind can't be a part of that. It's fake. It's okay. So we said to have that consciousness, and when the spirit comes, and people don't have the real spirit in their body, the spirit of the Creator in their body, who created them in their body, in their mind, right? When that spirit falls to the earth, they won't have any protection to protect themselves, and they'll be controlled by that spirit that they've accepted, that dog religion, let's say. They'll be controlled by that, and they can easily become possessed because they don't have anything real spiritual power to protect them. That's why it's got to leave Babylon. You've got to leave Babylon. Okay? The consciousness of Babylon. Okay, so to maintain harmony among the dog heads, crowns, right? They each have their position, right? They each have their title. They each have their designated realm or their designated aspect of man they control. One controls the head, the mind, through the UCC laws, through the politics that's instituted, that's given nationwide, through a system of networks, okay, the system of organizations, okay. So they circle what the duties are, the systems of government, right? Bought politicians, like they bought here, to institute over the body, right? That would be the word, the politics. Then they have the physical force, the astral realm, that would be the planetary realm, that would be the female crown. She would control, institute over her body, right? Over her bodies, right? Then that would be like I said, the planets, and she would implement the law, okay? That's what the planet is supposed to implement the law. And then there will be the physical realm. That will be her son. He would control the physical body through the police system, through the military, through we have what, the military industrial complex. And what do those so-called prince do? They become royal members of the Air Force, royal members of the military, right? Royal members of that, so they could control implement the law by force. And what were they implementing the law? Democracy by force, right? Through the word, right? Right, okay. The democracy was the word, right? To be implemented militarily through depleted uranium, right? Okay. Now, so they all have their own position, their own part of man they control. One controls, right, the what? The mind, the word, the politics, the law, okay? UCC laws, right? Bonds, right? Birth certificates, right? Then one controls, the female controls what? The body, her son, and her son controls, implements the word, and he implements, has rule over the body, the human body. So he enforces the word. That's his job. She's the body. If she controls the body, she is the body. When she controls the physical body, she implements the word, gives it to her son, who enforces it upon the body. And that's who does the work, okay, of the father. Okay, the one who's always in mourning, missing his father. The one who's always sad because he has nobody to relate to. He can't relate to the human body. He can't relate to the human body because the human body knows nothing of God. Okay? He's a god. He can't socialize with the human body. He can't breed with them. They're not pure blood. They're not blue bloods. He can't mate with them. You know? He can't relate to them. So that's why he's always lonely. And he can't relate to his mother because she's a woman. Right? So he's always missing his father. He can't wait for his daddy to come home. Right? Okay. He can be one with his daddy. Okay? So they all have different jobs. That's how they remain. They all have and that's how they work harmoniously together to control the body over humanity. Okay, the sleeping ones. Okay, the ones with closed eyes. Okay, and so each crown head is positioned and it is inherited as a relative, okay? And they do the reincarnation, okay? From one crown head is reincarnated from another crown head, and that's how they pass it on, the power on, the spiritual power on, right? Through reincarnation. Just like this new baby, born the 22nd to K, is named after part of his name is after Alexander the Great, because not great, but Alexander. He ain't no goddamn great shit. Just because he killed didn't make him great. He was a hard killer, didn't make him great, right? Determined killer, and he was supposed to be bred by a half-breed, right? Half human and half spiritual. This, and his father looked in and saw the breeding and became one-eyed, right? While they were breeding, the mother of Alexander was breeding with a snake. That's how it goes, okay? And snake represents the caduceus coil, okay, which is supposed to be that spiritual energy that rises from to go through and some people call it the kundalini, and it goes up through the chakra system until it reaches the crown chakra and opens up. Okay, that's what the caduceus coil, or it represents like a snake, but it's because it's, you know, wavy energy, or like energy in a wave. It's supposed to be like a snake. Okay, so that's what she was mating with to produce Alexander, and he was a conqueror. Remember, I told you, with the ram's thing on his head and all this kind of stuff to represent Ra. He was supposed to be, so they named their son after him because they want him to conquer. See what I'm saying? So they think they'll reincarnate that spirit, and they call upon other spirits to bring that spirit forth to put it in that person's body. Just like, I think it was what's her name, Nicki Minaj. She said there's a spirit in her, and his name is Rome, and they brought him forth, and he's always angry. Yes, he's always angry because he's always mourning, he's always angry. She doesn't hide that, where she said there's a spirit in her, and his name is Rome, and they brought him forth, and he's always angry. She said that, okay? They call forth that spirit in her, okay? They do that. Okay, and then when that person goes into trance, they put that person in a trance, and they put that person, they call forth the spirit in a trance, and they get information from that spirit, but it's really a Jinn spirit talking for that spiritual being, okay? That's still part of deception too, to keep people following in that infectious consciousness of ROMULUS, suckling from the beast, the consciousness of the beast. Okay, yeah, it's pretty gross, it's pretty grim, it's pretty gruesome, it's pretty whacked out, but that's what they got humanity. That's what they're trying to nurse humanity on, this spiritual belief. Okay, if you think this sounds maddening, that's what they got the mankind nursing on. This is spirituality they're feeding them. That's why they got them calling him God backwards, because it represents a dog god, Anubis. Okay, that's why I don't call him God, and that's why I don't say good morning. Okay, now, so they got they control different aspects of the body, right? And each crown position is inherited because they don't want to lose that control over humanity. Okay, so and that's the power, that's the spirituality of their demonic dynasty. Romulus represents the god fatherhead, or the dog fatherhead of Anubis, right? As all empires had their represented Ra, okay, which represents the masculine energy, okay. In reality, it represents the masculine energy, okay, because it represents the sun. But they don't want to tell you that. They just want to harness the energy of the sun and use it to empower themselves. Okay, so as I said, he would be considered the Papa, or the Pope, as we said, the spiritual Papa. The mother Godhead would be represented by the crown head mother. She is to be represented by the queen mother, as she is reflected in England, and the second head of the tri-headed dog, Anubis, right? So we're going to move on, because we spoke about that. Okay, so okay, so then the third final crown head of the dog head Anubis would be represented by the crown prince, right? We said, and okay, we're going to go to video 6, inshallah. So, salam alaikum.